My brother, he wanted to do a drop shipping store.
Yeah.
When he was like 12 or something, and then he came up to me with the idea of him drop shipping accessories. But I was like, why don't we do something that's more like feasible, something that's bigger, something that could actually that we could push to a bigger extent. And he was kind of like, what do you think? And I was like, we might as well just start a clothing brand. This is in 2017. We'll see where we get to. And we were both leaning towards the idea of unisex garments. And I spoke to my mom about it. My mom basically gave us the heads up. She was like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And the name came from myself and my brother, OnePlusOne, because it was just both of us at the time. Now it's kind of pushed into a bigger team, thank God, because doing shit by just us two was a bit tough. Like considering like in 2017 my brother was like 12, so and I was only like 17 as well. Like, do you get me? But yeah, then we just said, yo, listen, we'll start a clothing brand around February, March, see what happens from there. But starting off, it was real tough, like obviously, because we didn't know much about it. We didn't know how much we had to invest. We didn't know what we had to do. We didn't know who to contact, because at the time, if you guys remember, there's only Joker Clothing, if I'm not mistaken. I think Diamond Piece was still around, but I'm not too sure. And there was also Culture Club, but I didn't get to know Culture Club until like later on in 2017. But I knew Joker Clothing because I had met Abdul, just one of these days rolling around in town, and I just spoke to him briefly, and that was pretty much it. Then from there on, I was kind of like, yo, actually, I want to do this, and my brother was like, yeah, I want to do this too, and it just stemmed from there, and it is what it is now.
And how important is creative control to you? Because I've noticed, like, I know back then you used to have people like do shoots for you, know. I've noticed as of lately, like you're doing your own visuals, and yeah, like just everything is more like you're taking more control. It's like, I like to assume you always have control.
Yeah.
But like you're taking things into your own hands. How important is that to you?
I feel like it's a good asset to have, to be multifaceted, but also it's very important to be able to spread tasks across the team, and let each individual know what's going on exactly. The reason why we even went towards like doing stuff ourselves is because like you just get disappointed time and time again, and like fair enough, like you rely on somebody else to try cut something for you, but then they might not cut how you wanted to cut, and then you pay them, and it's kind of like, okay, I can't be rude, but how do I say this to them and tell them this is what I wasn't looking for? So then it was kind of them ones where we had to do like countless times after using other photographers, not getting exactly what we wanted, but we had to settle with it. And it just came to a point where I was kind of like, I was watching quite a lot of videos. I was watching Boiler Room videos. I was watching PlacesPlusFaces London parties. I was watching like all these UK brands do pop-up shops in like 2018, 2019. I always knew I was going to lean towards doing stuff like this. I just didn't know when. And luckily enough for us, quarantine came around February, March. I had a bit of money left over. I was like, I'm just going to buy cameras and see where I can go with this. I hadn't a clue what I was doing with the cameras, but I was like, to be honest, what's there to lose out on? Because I've always had the mentality, I'd rather spend 100 on myself and fail than spend 100 on somebody else, expecting them to do something, but I'm not happy with what they do. Do you get me? Like, but I tried to design a wife beater and I sell it to my rugby friends, because the lads were always like, oh, you should do this and it'll be sick. And I was kind of like, oh, you know, let me actually listen to them. And then I put it out and none of them copped it. I was so disappointed. I was kind of like, you guys are telling me to do this, but like you weren't buying it, and it was like €12 at the time or something. So I was kind of like, oh gosh, let me just not listen to them anymore and just go back to the drawing board and see what I could do. So yeah, that was probably the only instant where I kind of like used my sporting influence to my advantage, but it wasn't really an advantage because it was more disappointment than anything. But yeah, that's part of the growth progress. Like, minimalism is what we kind of stemmed off, or is what we kind of buzzed off. But obviously, with our recent collection being called A Step Outside, it quite literally has the narrative of us stepping outside our comfort zone and trying new things, exploring past our horizon, and letting ourselves know there's not really any limit to what we could do. Because like, one thing I've noticed is like, from the past in 2019 when we had the 2 shows back to back, it's kind of like, okay, if we could do this with our community, imagine if we put put in that extra bit of work, what we could actually then do again and continue to do and continue to build. Because I've always been a person of, if you support my thing, I'll support yours. Simple as. That's why, like, I've always been like, with our events, we could have easily had events where we didn't have artists performing, and then just have the event, but it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same feeling. Do you get me? Like, it wouldn't be as the same. So it was them ones where we're kind of like, yeah, I wanna. If I'm doing my thing and you support my thing, I wanna help you do your thing and try grow as well. Like,
Most definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's being compared, yeah. It's being compared, but like I feel like it's quite clear what Cisse is doing,
Yeah.
and well, not from an average person's eye, but like from a creative. I hate the word creative, but like from a creative person's eye, it's quite clear because the name is called PlacesPlusFaces, and if you look at the Instagram posts, it's kind of like straightforward. Like they get hella celebrities. They'll be like, "All right, we're in Soho or something like that with Skepta," and it'll be like Skepta wearing their garms. Place Soho and then face Skepta. But yeah, people have obviously compared the two PlacesPlusFaces, but I feel like our thing is just there. We're just there to have fun with it, and we're for the people. We're not really PlacesPlusFaces where it's kind of like we go to a place with a different face and then we name the thing. But it's hard to explain off the top of my head, but it's being compared, and how I usually answer these questions is usually like we're just different. Like, literally, that's how I'll answer it. We're different. We're similar, but we're different.
Yeah. Okay, venues covered.
Yeah.
Let's say capacity is like max 10K.
Yeah.
And your budget is 50K.
Yeah.
Where are you going with that?
I think I'll try bringing an artist for 25 or 30 at most. And then I think what I'll do is I'll put 2 headlining Irish artists underneath that, and then maybe like another 2 just below the headline, and obviously have the main artist from possibly UK or something. I don't know who I'll think, but I'll definitely have a UK artist and then 2 headline Irish artists, if not 1. So then, because one thing I feel like one thing I realized with the previous events is there's almost too many artists for one night, because the way how all these events are ran, it was like ran in the space of 4 hours. So trying to get like 15 people performing in 4 hours, when you think about it, it's kind of like, oh, it should be doable, but you have to consider like people setting up, people getting their song loaded and getting off the stage, and obviously interacting with the crowd. It takes more than that, and you don't want to rush in performance as well. But to answer your question, I feel like it would definitely be a thing where I'd love to have a whole day thing, like a whole day type of thing, like maybe have like a pop-up for like 4 hours, 5 hours with some food, and like one of these like fancy meet and greet type of shit, and afterwards I just have a party until like maybe 1 or something. I don't know. I don't like partying past 1.
Yeah.
I just get tired after 1. Like, but yeah, if I had a limited budget, I'd definitely bring in an artist, 2 headline Irish artists, and then just have a whole day thing, maybe with some activities and shit. Like,
Sweet.
To be honest, I'd say don't be scared to lose money would definitely be one. And another one is just make as many contacts as you can, 110%. And talk to people as well. Don't be scared to talk to people. Get some opinions off other people, and then get your friends wearing their stuff as early as possible. But in terms of manufacturing, yeah, just literally use, like what I did is I searched up on Google 2017 manufacturers in the world. And literally like, and I was lucky enough to find a few, but obviously with stuff like this, like some people will just do you dirty. Some people actually get what you need. Some people take long. So it's just a process you have to go through. But if I was to give advice, is I'd definitely say just use the internet. It's a free resource. Use it to your advantage. Like,
sometimes like this can be a conflicting question to me as well. Sometimes when someone asks you like, what do you do? So like, how do
that's
you
the
label
thing.
yourself?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to label myself. I just call myself OJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't like to call myself a content creator. I don't like to call myself a manager. I just call myself OJ. And then what I always tell people, and what I'll continue to tell people, is if you know me, you know me. You know what? If you know what I do, you know what I do. Do you get me? Like, I don't like to put myself under one umbrella, because obviously, like I tend to try to dip into everything before I see what I actually like and I sell with. Like as I was telling Lambs, I was like, I don't think there's anything that I haven't done in terms of like from when I was 15 to like now. See, I can answer the question what's next, but I hate saying coming soon. Like, I just hate saying that shit, man. Because you can say coming soon, but then it might not drop until March. And you're kind of like scratching your head, being like, yeah, I didn't say that.
But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, we done.